take questions, whatever works for you.
Yeah, we're excited to get going. It's been a long process going back to December. And we'll start with the off-season program, spring ball, the summer. I think we've had a really productive month in camp. And we're excited to play Troy. They're a very good football team. A lot of returning players. They're certainly probably the top team in the Sun Belt. They've been the top program in the Sun Belt for a number of years. They're a team that has tremendous team speed on both sides of the football. I think it'll be a great challenge for our team, but we're excited to see what we have. Certainly glad that the game's at home, and hopefully we'll have a great crowd here at the Doit with a lot of orange and brown ready to cheer on the Falcons.
Been a lot of work for you the last 9 months or so. What do you think the final few days will be like heading into this ball game?
Well, the final few days is you're going through that checklist to make sure you have everything covered. There's so many things that can happen in the course of a game, and through spring and through camp, we've tried to hit every situation a couple of times, and we just want to remind our players, especially in an opener, things always seem to go differently because you're not exactly sure what you're going to get. Even though Troy, they have the same head coach, the same offensive coordinator, the same defensive coordinator. Every year people go out and do research and put some new wrinkles in there, and you're anxious and curious to find out what the wrinkles are, and you want to make sure you're able to adjust. So I think that's what makes the opener so stressful, is that as opposed to playing a game week 10 that you got 10 weeks of film to study. We certainly looked at what they did a year ago, but I'm sure they've researched and are doing some different things based on their personnel. So it's kind of expect the unexpected.
Well, that said, do you kind of feel like you guys are on target with where you were wanting to be at this time?
The only thing I judge is, are we getting better? And we have gotten better. There is no question in my mind that we're a better football team right now than we were a month ago, and that we were at the end of April, the end of spring football. But it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter until you start playing games when it counts. And I'm sure we're going to see some good things out there on Thursday. I'm sure we're going to see a handful of mistakes. And I think in openers, the key is really eliminate mistakes. Don't beat yourself. And it's critical that we take care of the football, that we play well on special teams, we play the field position battle, and that we play assignment football. And against a team like Troy with the type of skill that they have, the assignment breakdowns can become big plays in a hurry. So we got to make sure we're lined up correctly, and I don't think it's important that we do a lot. It's just important what we do well.
Coach, I noticed a name here on the depth chart that for maybe some of us jumped out of nowhere. Brandon Jackson, a fourth-year senior kid, hadn't really played very much, and he's number one at defensive end. Could you just talk a little bit about him?
Well, we came out of spring practice, and we felt Angelo Magnone had won the one defensive end position. And the other one we thought would be a 2 or a 3-way battle. And Brandon really had the best camp. And the one thing he does is he knows what he's doing. He plays extremely hard. He's physical at the point of attack. We will play a lot of different defensive linemen. Brandon will play the first snap, and he'll play a lot, but we'll be mixing a lot of different guys in there on the defensive line. I think what we maybe lack for having, we're starting 4 new defensive linemen. And, what we lack for maybe having a marquee name, I'm hoping that we make up for having depth. I really feel we have about 7 or 8 guys that we feel comfortable that we can roll in there and give us productive snaps and keep us fresh, so that whoever's rolling in there, we're getting a lot of energy and a lot of guys that play with a motor, and that's what's important. And Brandon has done that probably more consistently than our other ends through camp, and that's why he started.
Well, you've got some new defensive ends. Troy's got some really good ones coming into this game. How are you planning to protect Tyler?
Oh, they're good, aren't they? Really good. They're outstanding players, Sheffield and Lang. I mean, it just, at some point you got to block them. There's only so many things you can do to negate, great players. And certainly the strength of their defense are the 2 ends, Sheffield and Lang, along with the middle linebacker Lee. And those guys are good players that have made plays on film against good competition. And we're going to have to find ways to slow them down. But at the end of the day, Brady Minturn and Tyler Donahue are going to have to block them.
Obviously, the kids are going to have some butterflies on Thursday. Yourself as a coach, new program, you're going to have some butterflies?
If I don't, I should be doing something else. I mean, you work all year for what comes down to is 12 opportunities to play. And so everything that we do, from recruiting to the work in the weight room and the work in the morning runs and the spring football and all the planning and all that we do, it boils down to 12 games. And you can't get excited for them, something's wrong with you. And being the first game at Bowling Green, there's certainly a whole nother level. We just had a staff meeting today, and it's the first time as a staff we've been through, okay, when do the kickers come out? When do the returners come out? And we just want everything to run just so and be organized. And when you're somewhere for 2, 3, 4 years, everyone just knows what you do and knows the routine. And when it's game one at a new staff, you spend a lot more time doing that stuff than we will week 3 or year 3.
Could you talk a bit about their quarterback and the kind of offense we'll see from them?
From
Troy.
Yeah. I mean, they are a wide open spread deal. They have tremendous skill. The quarterback is a returning starter, Levi Brown. I recruited Levi at Richmond, and he's actually my starting quarterback there for a couple of games. And he can really throw the ball. He's very accurate. He's a big frame guy. He has a quick release. He's a very good player. We knew that when we recruited Levi, and certainly not surprised that he's having the success he is. And they get rid of the football quick. And they have some really good receivers. Jernigan is probably one of the best that we'll face all year. And they have an excellent tailback in DeJuan Harris. So they're tough to defend. Anytime you have a quarterback, they got 2 or 3 receivers and a legitimate tailback, and they're good up front. You can't go into the game and say, well, geez, if we can just stop the passing game, they can't run it, or if we just stop the running back, they can't throw it. They're a very balanced offense. So, again, this will be a great challenge for our defense.
Coach, if you'd say what would be the key for you guys to have success offensively, what do you guys need to get done?
Offensively, we got to move the sticks. We've got to convert third downs. We got to take advantage of our red zone scoring opportunities when we have them. We're going to have to find a way to make big plays. So, to me, stay on the field. When we get in the red zone, we got to get points on the board, and we're going to have to generate big plays. And I don't know if that's anything unique to this game. That's probably a lot of games this year. But I think that's the key, is that when you're as talented as they are in offense, one of the ways we keep them off the field is by converting third downs and keeping our own offense out there.
What's the mood of the program? What kind of feeling you get from the guys, the players?
I think that they're anxious. I think they're confident. They know they've gotten better. They watch the film and they see where they are. And we've had a lot of guys really step their game up. Ray Hudson, who's a younger receiver for us, has really had a great camp. I mean, he really left spring with the thought that he's probably a year away, and now he's worked himself into a role that he's going to play a lot of football for us. And there's a number of other guys that have really raised up their game. Keith Morgan at a safety. Keith was a guy that was a freshman last year and didn't play a lot in the spring, was inconsistent, and now had a great summer and really put together a great camp. So, as all these individuals get better, they just make our team better. And it's been a lot more. There's been a lot more internal competition, which is really the key to a good program. The way you get better is if you guys feel every day they're battling for playing time and battling for spots, it raises the whole level of your program. And, we're not where we need to be with that, but I think we've taken some good steps forward.
You mentioned playmakers on offense, and you got Freddie Barnes as a senior, and he's been here quite a while. Not a very good year last year because of injury, but do you expect him to maybe be the playmaker on offense, or one of the 2 or 3 guys?
Well, a bunch of guys. I don't think you can ever say it's got to be one guy, but Freddie's in a position that he's got to be a playmaker for us. He's the one that'll get a lot of individual coverage, but Willie Jeter had a great camp. Willie's got to be a playmaker for us. Tyrone Proney had a really good camp. Ray Hudson